As a young, up-and-coming animator, stroke artist, stroke entrepreneur, in your opinion, is it necessarily true that the longer you take on creating a piece of animation, the better it will be, or can it be quite the opposite sometimes?
Yeah, I think, well, obviously, it seems if you have longer to do it, you can have longer to perfect little things, and it should be that way. But I think really it's kind of like when you do a drawing, and sort of you ink it in or you pencil it in, and you think it's really good, and then you start colouring it, and it wrecks it when you colour it, and you spoil it. So you can double-edged sword kind of thing, I think, with that, because you can over perfect something, and you can add too much to it, and you don't realise you're doing it. But it just makes it worse if you spend too much time, I think, and you'll lose sort of the raw emotional thing that, like, if you're just doing a sketch or if you're just making animation, it's just sort of doing it quick and throwing it out there and not adding too much to it. It's kind of more, it's got the physicality to it and that emotion sort of carries through, and I think audience will pick up on that, or whoever you're showing it to will pick up on that, and I think.
As would you say some of your favourite things have taken the shortest time?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to think. The things that when you wake up in the morning, you think, "Oh, I've got an idea for something today," and then you go out and do it, and you'll always have a lot more fun than if you. I think I've always found that if I meticulously plan something and I've got it really like planned in my head and it's going to go perfect and I'm going to spend all this time to do it, I usually mess up. It's not as good because I spend too much time thinking of it in your head, and then it sort of mulls in your head for a while, and it becomes perfect in your head, and then when you actually make it physical, it's not as perfect in your head, so you're always going to be disappointed with it. Whereas if you have not really an idea of what it is, and you just pen to paper or pen to tablet or whatever. Yeah.
For as long as you can remember, have you always been into cartoons?
Yeah.
Really?
Pretty much, yeah.
What particular cartoon caught your eye most when you were a kid?
When I was a kid? It was probably like The Simpsons, things like that. Things that were on quite regularly and that sort of thing, but I guess anything that was on TV sort of before school, sort of like Smurfs and that sort of stuff, I guess would catch my eye quite a bit, and Saturday morning cartoons, like, I don't know if you know Cow and Chicken, and yeah, it's stuff like that sort of.
Oh, I don't know, that might be a little bit like Afterlife.
But like, yeah, Ren and Stimpy.
A bit too old for that.
Rocko's Modern Life, I was a big fan of Rocko's Modern Life, I remember that. I love that, yeah.
What was the cartoon, Ed, that made you want to pick up your drawing pens and say, yeah, you know, I could do this? Was there a particular one?
Yeah, it kind of, it's not so much, it is a cartoon. It was a cartoon. I don't know if you know rathergood.com and Joel Beach.
I've heard that, rings a bell, yeah.
Sort of.
You were saying that in Barry's Face to Face, weren't you?
Yeah,
yeah.
Right, yeah. And he did a thing called Blowed, which was about it's MS Paint drawings, and it's all fun, and it's just silly little flash animations, and it wasn't as polished as the stuff you'd see on TV, so you kind of, it's more inspiring that way, and it made you think, oh yeah, it's kind of like the Sex Pistols made people want to join bands as soon as they saw them, and it's definitely the same thing. It made me want to go, oh, I could do that probably, and then I tried doing it, and that's kind of where it started, I guess.
And how old were you, and let me rephrase that, do you remember the first project you ever did, and how old were you when you did it?
First project I ever did? Well, I've kind of been doing things all my life, and I guess sort of when I was younger I wanted to be sort of a Beano artist and work for the Beano and sort of thing, so I remember doing like setting up a comic with my friend where we were going to do, it was called Honk Comic, and it was just like characters we made up. I think one of them was called Funky Freddy, and he had funky hair.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and so I must have been like 7, 8, and I don't know, it's primary school. So.
You were a massive Beano fan?
Yeah.
Who was your favourite Beano star? Because I'm trying to compare it now, because I was reading it in the early 80s, but like, and then there was I think probably one of my favourites was Ball Boy.
Yeah.
Is he still on?
Yeah.
There was
well, he was.
Roger the Dodger.
For a while. Yeah, Roger the Dodger.
Minnie the Minx.
Minnie the Minx. I wasn't a massive fan of Minnie the Minx.
Really?
It could have been because I was a guy and she was a girl, and it was like, no, I'm not reading a girl. I can't identify with this. I'm too butch for that.
I'm not trying to tell you anything.
Yeah.
Excuse me. No, like, what about the Dandy or the Beezer?
I had Dandy books and like Beezer books when I was here. I didn't really, because I was a Beano fan and like a big Beano fan. You know, the rivalry between Dandy and
and Beano.
So I wasn't a fan, but recently, because there's a cartoonist called Jamie Smart who does. I really like his work. He does Bear comics and stuff like that, and he's now the artist for Desperate Dan, and they've sort of revamped the Dandy, and it is incredible. It's really good. The humour on it is like it's funny enough for everyone. Like everyone will find it funny.
It's actually interesting because I was in the library. I was in my local library just the other day, and I was trying to get on the internet, and I had to have a 15-minute wait before someone damn well got off the computer. And what I did was I just picked up the nearest book. I just picked up the nearest book that was near me, and it was actually A to Z of history of cartoon comics.
Well, that's
and it
cool.
was basically, and it goes through all the characters that have been in the Beano, in the Dandy, in the Beezer, you know, Spider-Man comics, the whole shebang, like in America and everything. And it was and apparently Dennis the Menace has been on there since the 50s.
Yeah.
And I think Desperate Dan's been on there since the 40s, I think, or something like that. It's just amazing. Like all these characters have just been on for so long. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, back to the cartoons and films and things. In your eyes, how has animation changed and developed over the years, do you reckon?
Well, animation is like one of the oldest art forms. Like, it's quite a... cave paintings are essentially animation, because animation is essentially just illusion of movement, and to us now, we're sophisticated enough to look at cave paintings and sort of look at them and go, they're not moving, but like, just doing... Like what they do is they draw a picture of, say, a bison, and then they draw not 4 legs, but they draw all the legs, like of every movement. So they put it in that movement and that movement and that movement. So they'd essentially be doing animation, and then looking at that to them would be like, oh, that's moving because I can see all the legs. So to them it would be moving, and then you have like ancient Greeks that did it on the side of urns, and so when you spin an urn around, it kind of gives the illusion of movement, and it's technology, I think, is what's changed. Because now we're doing everything with CGI, and it's gone through all the sort of paper stuff of the sort of golden era of Disney and all that sort of stuff. But it's just technology, like, because we can do with each new thing that comes out, we kind of do things, but we're still telling the same stories, and we're still just rehashing the same characters and the same sort of protagonists. It's with all storytelling.
But what looks better, do you reckon? The stuff that's helped, the animation that's helped a lot with technology, or the old drawings, do you reckon?
Well, it's
in your eyes?
In my eyes, I prefer drawings, I think, to CGI. I think what's really disappointing about CGI is they try and make everything so photoreal, and I don't see why you'd want to do that, because you've got this medium that animation is so good because you can make the impossible. And you can make things that don't exist in the real world, and there's such a... I don't understand why you'd want to make everything so real world in animation, because you've got a camera, you can do that with that. Animation, you're free to do whatever you like, so why are you striving to make something look so real?
Have you actually... This is quite interesting, actually, and this really goes with the time now.
Yeah.
Tintin was released this week. Have you seen it yet?
No, I haven't seen it.
Do you have any intentions?
Yeah.
Do you want to?
I'm excited about it, actually,
really?
to be honest.
Because it's a Spielberg film, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. I've heard good things about it.
And I read a review on the way up on the train today. And they were sort of like...
Yeah. I wasn't so much a Tintin fan when I was growing up, I guess. Or I haven't really... I've read a couple of them, but I haven't... there's always been Tintin comics in my house. My mum was a big fan of Tintin, and... so there's always been Tintin comics, but I'm more an Asterix. I read more Asterix and all that sort of stuff. So, but I don't know. I reckon it'll be good. The trailer looks good, and I like it, and I think the animation goes well. I was dubious when they said it was going to be 3D, but I think it works. I think, even though that is contrary, it's like the 3D thing.
Yeah, no, I'm
and being photoreal. Yeah. But I think they might get the photoreal and then be able to bring the impossible into the real world with it. Yeah, I think.
I was reading the Metros, as I said, on my way up here, and they were raving about. I think it's just because there's two big names behind it. There's Peter Jackson, there's Spielberg, and
and then there's Edgar Wright and Stephen Moffat and Joe Cornish, and, and Jamie Bell
and Daniel Craig.
Yeah, Daniel Craig.
Yeah, so they've got all the big guns in there.
Gollum as well. What's his name? Andy Serkis.
Right, yeah. Okay. There's obviously millions of cartoons out there.
Yeah.
Some fall by the wayside. But what makes a cartoon classic or timeless? I mean, like the early Disney stuff from the 1930s and 40s, let alone today, is going to be floating around long after you or I, and beyond. But why do you think some of these cartoons just sort of stand the test of time and seem eternal almost? Why do you think that is?
I think it's to do with storytelling.
Really? And not the quality of it.
I think the quality of it is sort of it maybe because they are so iconic in their drawings and stuff and stuff. But I think that's more down to marketing because they market it at kids. And if you market something at kids, then it's going to last an imprint in your. It lasts longer. Like you'll always remember the place you grew up, or you always remember the films from your childhood, and you always look at them with rose-tinted eyes and stuff. So,
songs as well.
Yeah, so you always remember stuff from a kid. So I think if you market something at kids, it's gonna and it's good. If it's something that's good quality and you market it at kids, then they're gonna remember it a lot more than if you market something at adults and they've had time, because people are developing and sort of a lot of people's Alice in Wonderland is always going to be that blonde head girl. Blue dress.
Pinocchio.
Pinocchio.
Yeah, that's the one that still just knocks me for six. It is. I just love that film, and that scene when they're in the shop, give a little whistle. Yeah. In the shop, I just love that. That sort of scene puts me in a good mood. It really, really does. What's your favourite Disney film?
Disney film. I'm not a massive fan of Disney films. I really appreciate the animation and stuff, but
have you studied the older ones?
I've watched them,
like from the 30s or the 40s.
I've watched sort of like Snow White and all that sort of stuff, and it's amazing. It's really impressive what they could do, but I don't know. I'm not a massive Disney fan. I like some of them. I like the Robin Hood. I think that's a really good adaptation of Robin Hood. And I sort of have Lion King. I love Lion King. I think Lion King is my favourite.
Do you know what? Because that was made in the 90s, wasn't it? I think. Can you? Obviously, because you're going to look at it in a different eye to me. Yeah. It's like me listening to a song. I might listen to a song in a certain way from a writing perspective. But can you actually look at, say, something like Snow White, made in 1940, I think. I could be wrong. It might be 39 or 40. Late 30s, early 40s, and then look at The Lion King and see the differences? Or have they tried? Have they kept it? Have they kept it?
No, definitely not.
They haven't tried to sort of. Do you know what I mean?
It's definitely changed.
You know what I'm saying? You know where I'm coming from. What are the major sort of differences?
Well, colour. There's a lot sharper and brighter colours. Is a massive thing, and with Lion King they used Elton John songs and all that sort of stuff rather than you can tell and audio quality of it.
It's more up to date.
Yeah, it seems more sort of sharp and brighter, I guess. But I think I like Lion King more because it's kind of their own story. I don't know. It's not a story they've taken from anywhere, I don't think. Whereas I think my main problem with Disney films is that they've taken really good stories and to some they've done their own adaptation. That's fine. That's brilliant. And that's great. But the fact that so many people recognise them as the stories, that's the story of Alice in Wonderland. And they don't bother to read Lewis Carroll or whatever. And it's a shame. I think it's the monopoly of Disney that I'm
disappointed with.
I think the quality of it is brilliant, and I think that's good. But,
right, just moving on, we're going to have a bit of trivia now, okay? Right, talking about classic animations, cartoons, etc. I'm going to give you my top 25 favourites while I was growing up in my, all those years ago. Okay, ones that I really adored, you know what I mean? Now, I'm really going to give my age away here, but hey-ho, you know, growing old is a privilege. There are going to be a few obvious ones that everyone knows, but maybe not all of them. Okay, so I'm going to give you a list of like the cartoons, etc. What I just loved as a kid. So let's see if any from your generation, or if yourself, any that you recognise.
Yeah.
I'm going to fly through them, and then you can just sort of like say whether you know and whatnot. Okay, right. Mr. Ben.
Yeah.
The Clangers.
Yeah, definitely.
Bagpuss.
Yeah.
Hair Bear Bunch.
I know of them.
Scooby-Doo.
Yes.
Obviously. He-Man.
Yeah, but not a massive fan.
Danger Mouse.
Yeah.
Will-o'-the-Wisp.
Yeah.
Paddington Bear.
Yeah, I love Paddington.
Trumpton / Campbellwick Green.
Yeah.
Portland Bill.
No.
Tom and Jerry.
Yeah.
The Pink Panther.
Yeah.
Magic Roundabout.
Yeah.
Yogi Bear.
Yeah.
Wacky Races.
Yeah.
Dr. Snuggles.
No.
Peter Ustinov. Absolute genius.
Alright.
Yeah, Google.
Yeah.
Google Peter Ustinov rather than Dr. Snuggles, because Ustinov is just a genius. He really is. He's just an amazing actor, performer, writer, you name it. Morph / Tony Hart.
Yeah, brilliant.
Legend. Dungeons and Dragons.
Was that a cartoon?
Yeah.
Oh,
in
wow.
the 80s.
Oh, wow. No.
Roadrunner.
Yeah.
Captain Caveman.
Yeah.
Hong Kong Phooey.
Yeah.
Jamie and the Magic Torch.
Yeah. Sorry. There's a cartoon on the net which is Jamie and the Magic Dodger. I can't. And it's Jamie Theakston. And it's.
Eyeball the Engine.
Yeah.
Therapeutic, man. I love watching that.
Yeah.
Top Cat.
Yeah. Top Cat.
Raymond Briggs / the Snowman.
Yeah.
The Bear.
Yeah.
Father Christmas. Fungus
The bear
Bogey
is
Man.
scary.
Oh no, the bear's amazing.
Terrifying.
Do you know that?
Big giant bear goes into a little kid's room.
Do you know that Charlotte Church sang that on that? The end titles.
Right. I saw her live last week.
No, when she that was before she started coming out and about. Like Charlotte Church actually sang. I only realised that quite recently. Charlotte Church sang the titles to the bear, and it was done in about 96, 95, 96.
Right.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
They're the main ones. But well, that's obviously a list of classics, isn't it? So obviously they've all revolved round and repeated themselves into your generation.
No, yeah. A lot of those, as I was saying, like the Smurfs and stuff are on, but you didn't.
Well, there's
you
only
haven't
one
got
or
the
two you
Smurfs.
didn't recognise.
But yeah, a lot of them like were on before breakfast in the morning or whatever. Like when I was going to school, like I'd switch the TV on before I was like when I was getting ready or whatever on a primary school, and it would always be these sort of shows of Captain Caveman. Definitely.
The one thing I really love about this is obviously because like our audience are going to be watching this and they're going to be saying, "Hey, I remember that too. I remember that too."
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay, right. This is going to be a little bit more of a serious thing, a bit of serious side of animation. The next question I'm going to ask you. It's a bit of a long one, so you carry on doodling while I answer it.
Cool.
But would you say that animation can have a profound and perhaps a subliminal effect on people more than normal films or normal pictures? Because when I was a kid, I used to watch Saturday morning TV, and like there used to be a thing on the 70s called Tiswas, and it's got Chris Tarrant on, the chap who does Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and there was Swap Shop on the other side, which had Noel Edmonds on, but like Deal or Don't Deal, man. But like what it used to be like, there was this sort of like prime time, like kids sort of like like 10 a.m. to sort of midday, kids TV, but the adverts that they were showing were quite scary, you know what I mean, for sort of like to be on at 10 o'clock in the morning. They were almost like public awareness like adverts. And for instance, there was one which was called Charlie the Cat, which used to go meow 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 or whatever. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and he was focusing on safety for kids, and it used to have this kind of like really scary advert where it would have like Charlie and the boy playing in the park, and then there'd be a man hanging around and just sort of like, the man would say, "Do you want to come and see some puppies or dogs and come with us and everything?" But then it would, like I said, it was quite chilling when you look at it, just how kind of serious it was. And also there was like Tufty the squirrel, which was about road safety, and the Green Cross Code Man about road safety and everything as well, and learning to swim and all that kind of stuff. And it was done in an animation form, but like there was this really sort of heavy stuff that was glossed over with animation, if you see what I mean. And I did actually look at some of these adverts on YouTube recently, and I'm not joking yet, I hadn't seen them for years. Years and years I had not seen them, but some of the melodies, some of the dialogue and the images I still remembered. Do you know what I mean? And they're like, even the words, I was almost lip syncing some of the words because I hadn't seen it for that long. But do you think that sort of cartoons and animation can really leave an imprint on a person's mind?
Yeah.
Do you think so? Why do you reckon that is?
I think, as I was saying about, because it's generally aimed at kids, it's that sort of thing, and you are more susceptible, you're more likely to remember stuff, and you're more likely to do stuff when you're a kid.
That is so true.
Yeah. And also, I think, there's an interesting thing, whereas you get more empathy with cartoons and stuff like that, because if you draw something that's realistic, it's got so much detail in it that you can't really empathise with it as much as if you've got like just a circle with two dots, because a circle with two dots can be everyone. Mm-hmm. So whether you're a woman, a man, whether you've got big eyes, whether you've got big lips, you're always going to empathise, because everyone's got two eyes, except pirates and stuff, but like everyone's got two eyes, and everyone's got a head. So
Captain Pugwash,
so everyone can empathise with cartoons a lot more because there's less detail in them. So there's a lot more empathy with cartoons, and so it's going to make more of an effect, because you're going to watch like that kid who was with Charlie the cat, and he's got two eyes and just ruffled hair, and that could be every boy and every girl, because like girls can have short hair and stuff. So like it can be you look at it and go, that's me. And that could be happening to me, or that is happening to me, and it's all empathy, and like, so that's more of an effect, than if you've got actual actors to do it, like, because you kind of won't care, like, if you see somebody, like, as sad as that is, you should care about other people, but like, you don't.
Do you know what you're saying? It sounds so like music. That you say for instance, you're in a certain dilemma in your life. Say like you're in love with someone, or every single love song is going to mean something to you. Yeah. But if you fall out of love with someone and you're going through a bit of a rocky patch, or you're by yourself again, then that you're going to be able to show empathy with other songs as well, aren't you? Yeah. You know
and like if you do a song that's like, I broke up with a girl in a fish and chip shop at 7:23 in the afternoon, and her name was Emily, and whatever, like. You're not going to empathise with that, because your breakup didn't happen at 7:23 in a chip shop. But if you say, I broke up with a girl and it was devastating and broke my heart, everyone can relate to that. So exactly,
it's amazing, isn't it? How
and it's the same thing with visuals.
It's so interesting. One we haven't touched on is Peanuts, Charlie Brown.
Massive. No. I wanted to be Charles Schultz when I was a kid.
Really?
Like, definitely wanted to be that guy. But growing up, like now, I think I'm more of a Calvin and Hobbes kind of fan. I know there's no rivalry between them, but like, massive Peanuts.
That was something that I used to remember a lot. Did you ever used to like have a look at some of the Giles stuff? Have you ever heard of the Giles?
Yeah.
The kind of the cartoon.
My grandma always used to give my dad a Giles book for Christmas or something. Yeah. I've never read it, but
we used to have those lying around.
There's always been them, but I've never actually picked them up. I know what it looks like, but.
Do you like Viz comics?
Yeah. Viz is amazing.
Anyhow, this interview could go on all day, but we better press on. Right, I guess at some point, because on all when I interview YouTubers, we've got to talk about YouTube, because we have to. I don't particularly want to, but we have to sometimes. What would you say is, to date, is your favourite piece of work on YouTube? you're on your own channel?
Yeah. I don't know. This is really difficult because I like all my stuff. Like, I've kind of got a fondness. Sorry.
I'm sorry. My personal. Sorry. I'm sorry, but one of my personal favourites that you've done. I love the rocket pen.
Yeah.
I really do like that. That's a really, really. Nice.
That's one that just came from like I had an idea in the morning and I decided to do it.
Really.
And like, yeah, that was like a quick kind of thing. But yeah, I don't know. I like a lot of my things for different reasons because I like to sort of try out new things, I guess. But I'm kind of most proud of music video wise. I think I like the video for Type 40 the best because it kind of reminds me of the time doing it, making it. I had a lot of fun making it because it was models as well as like I built a little TARDIS with newspaper and and bits of string and whatever, and I love doing that sort of thing. So it reminds me of that, and anything that sort of reminds me of having a fun time making it. And I've got some films that I'm still very proud of, like
so you should be
that I did ages ago, and nobody watches them because they're
Isn't
really
that always
old.
the way?
It's before I sort of
the one from 5 years ago. I had a look at one of those yesterday, where you were on these quiet streets with this guy.
Oh yeah, Stranger in the Cafe.
Yeah, that was really.
That's one that I really love, and I'm still really proud of like that.
Yeah.
And like, but again, nobody really pays a lot of attention to that one, and it is half an hour long, so I'm not expecting people to and like average attention span is sort of like. But actually, no, my favourite is Juggling Monsters. It's like 4 seconds long, but I think that's the sort of thing I think is my best YouTube video. It's not necessarily the best thing I've done, but I think that's my favourite YouTube video.
Where did the name Smilinglimpet come from? It's an interesting name.
Yeah, I grew up.
It's distinctive.
I grew up in the middle of nowhere.
Right, yeah, I saw that on your.
Yeah, and there's not much to do in the middle of nowhere, and I was really into Dave Gorman. I don't know if you know Dave Gorman. He's kind of famous for doing stupid projects and just stuff like basically they're bets, and he just goes out and does them. And I kind of wanted to be him when I was about 15, and so I decided it would be a fun idea to write Smilinglimpet on 500 people's body parts and take photos of them, which sounds ridiculous now, but at the time it was really profound, and it was. So me and my mate spent a year trying to pursue that, and it was Smilinglimpet because of a bizarre series of events, which I won't go into, but it was basically a cartoon character I'd made up, and I thought it was a fun sort of set of 2 words, I guess. I don't know. That's where that comes from.
You did want to, when we chatted on the phone the other day, you said that you'd like to have a little talk about your comics, because you sounded really proud of that and sort of like something that you're really, really into. How did that all get started for you?
Well, as I say,
the recent ones, obviously. You know?
Yeah. Well, as I say, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a Vino artist. Like, and then I've just always had an interest in comics. So, like, my first animations were pretty much just comics that moved a little bit, and I've kind of like sort of really got into people like Jeffrey Brown and Liz Prince and loads of people who started doing autobiographical comics, and people like John Campbell who do web. I was massively into webcomics, and I did webcomics when I was in school, and so that's and then so I've always been sort of into autobiographical. Well, no, I've now got into autobiographical stuff. Sorry, and yeah, so that's where my new comics, because
when I was looking at them, right,
yeah,
I noticed that you were focusing more on the pictures rather than dialogue.
Yeah.
Is that a fair enough thing for me to say?
Yeah, I think I'm a lot more visually minded.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? Because when you look at something, like I said, you can sort of make your own story around it, can't you?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, totally. It's the whole thing where if you do that, and ask 100 people what that is,
it's a baby.
You'll get well. You say a baby, but I've had people say, "Oh, that's a guy in a headlock," or "That's someone with their prize marrow," or "Someone's hurt their arm." And there's a million. It's a picture that speaks 1,000 words, and it's true. Like, Like, yeah.
How can someone be in a headline
Like that, isn't it?
No, do you know what? Like, I don't know whether, like I said to you, I've been out of cartoons for a long, long time since I watched them. But say, for instance, did they ever make a cartoon of the Beano?
Yeah,
Tell me they didn't.
They did.
No, because like you know, you have these I had
think
Dennis's voice in my head.
Yeah.
Like the way I read it, the way I used to read the Beano, I used to have Dennis.
They did a Dennis the Menace cartoon.
Oh, doesn't it shatter the illusion?
I think it's great. It's based on some of the. They used to do Beano All Stars, which were like came out every month, and like they were like feature stories, and they started. And I think they're really done. They're done well.
Really?
I recommend them.
Because you know what I mean. I sometimes like when it comes to comic stuff, it's yours. It's personal to you. It's like reading a book. You know, it's your perception. You kind of. Someone. I think it was John Lennon that said that great art is what you want it to be.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, it is a song.
It's never the artist.
No, it's never the artist. It can basically be the person that if the song can be what you want it to. Something can mean what you want it to mean.
Yeah.
And I used to just read the Beano, and I had all the characters' voices in my head, and the way I looked at it. But I just thought to myself, if ever I saw this on TV, it would just. Do you know what I mean? Though.
But yeah, I kind of like it because they did like a thing called Beano Video Stars, which I bought for like 50p at like a boot sale thing on VHS, and it's so bad, it's brilliant. And it's got a Beano rap, which is the worst thing, where it goes into give me a D, give me an M, and like it's just D for Dennis, M for Menace. It's just ridiculously bad, and that's what I think that's
what you like about it.
Yeah, and it's so British as well. It's like,
listen, talking of Britain, you live in Wales at the moment.
I do.
You don't have a Welsh accent though.
I don't. Oh, do I not? That was terrible. I can't do it wrong.
Would you like to take your work to London eventually, or would you actually maybe look further afield and maybe even California?
Yeah.
I'm not
sure. Yeah.
Bit of a dream world question, but do you know what I mean?
I'd love to. I'd love to move to London. I was like, I have got in the back of my mind. I after university and stuff, I'm thinking of maybe moving to London. I've got a lot of friends in London.
You've got contacts, haven't you? So.
Yeah, and I think it would be.
Would it be beneficial to what you're doing?
I think it would be. I'm not sure. Like a lot of the things I do, I can do anywhere really, because all you need is a laptop, or like a paper and pen or whatever, like in the scanner, and like so I can kind of be wherever I need to be, and like so I think it doesn't matter where you are as long as you find somewhere that's comfortable and you can call home. I think I'm not sure about America. I don't think I'd ever be able to call America home. I've never been to America, so I can't for definite say that. But
does the idea of doing a stint of a few years out there appeal to you?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. Definitely. I'd love to.
Do you know what I mean?
I'd love to visit it, and I'd love to experience it, and sort of, but I'd love to go everywhere. Like if a job opportunity came up on the moon, I'd be there in a shot. Like just anywhere. Like I love to travel, and I love to.
Because when I interviewed Michael on my last interview, that really did inspire me to want to interview Americans. It really did. That really sort of like I said, right, I want to sort of go out to California for a few months or whatever. You know,
and it's such a different culture. Yeah, I think
that's the pull. Yeah, that's the pull.
But it seems so not different because they speak the same language as us, and they have McDonald's as well.
When I was in New York City, I just thought it was basically a bigger London with skyscrapers and bigger roads. Yeah, so, I found New York very similar to London.
I'd love to go to New York. Like that would be the place. If I could go anywhere in America, it'd definitely be New York. Cause,
on the coast.
Yeah. Well, it's sort of east side, or east side, and where all the sort of the artists are from. Basically, I think that'd be lovely. A lot of my heroes come from New York.
Right. Last question before we get to 10 topical questions. What would be the ultimate, Ed? What would be the moment where you'd say to yourself, this is why I became an artist?
Oh, yeah.
What would be the achievement?
I think I think success is kind of like when you kind of measure. It would be if somebody I really admire, like a hero of mine. If I could go up to them and go, "Hey, I really like your work," and they could turn around and go, "Oh, hey, you're Ed. I really like your work as well." I think that's an achievement with work. I think if you get recognised, so that I think like if that could happen, if I could go up to like someone like Don Hertzfeldt or John Campbell or anyone I admire, sort of Jeffrey Lewis, and I'd like they've heard of me. That's an achievement. I think that's more of the achievement, or they've liked my work as well. I think that's something. But you can also world domination and
you can also keep your anonymity as well, can't you?
Yeah.
Because you're an artist, so you just let your work. Yeah. You can get on with your life, really, can't you?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So be stinking rich, hopefully one day. But
well, I don't know if that would be fun, to be honest. There's a lot of fun in striving, isn't there?
No, yeah, the
fighting.
The footsteps there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Right. I've only done this once. Now I did that with Barry. It went really well, so I'm going to try it again with yourself.
Okay.
Okay. 10 topical questions. 10 questions. 10 instinctive answers.
Okay.
I ask you to explain one of your answers.
Okay.
Okay. Here we go. What is your favourite colour?
Rainbow.
What is your favourite number?
20 something.
What would be your last meal?
My last meal would be pizza.
And dessert?
Pizza.
What is your biggest fear?
Everything.
Would you do a skydive?
Yes, without question.
What is your favourite film?
Probably Where the Wild Things Are.
What song really annoys you?
It's probably my alarm clock at the moment, to be honest.
How would you describe yourself in one word?
Yes.
What TV show makes you switch off the damn TV?
Most of them.
Oh dear. Well, listen, Ed, it's been great to see you again.
Cool. Yeah.
We met each other at the Save the Children.
Yeah. No, it's good to see you
meeting.
too.
Okay, you've been a wonderful guest. You know what? I am so lucky that I've had such fabulous guests so far. Honestly, I really hope it keeps going. And as for you, I hope what you're doing keeps going as well.
Cool.
And it's been cool. And thanks
yeah,
ever so much for
I
coming
hope
on.
you do well with other interviews and stuff.
We'll just see how it goes. It's creeping up slowly but surely. Ed,
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, take care.
No worries. Cool. Oh well, I think maybe.
Of course it did.
Looking for words I can't find for you. Searching for reasons that made you turn away from a light once so bright that showed the way. From a light once so bright that showed the way.
On either side. Is he working? Testing.